everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, then hello, my name is Shauna Astle and I'm the creator of the DMP Diaries. On this channel, there's something here for everybody, whether you are a DMP in training yourself, whether you are a graduate DMP, whether you're here for the spend the day with me, the weekly vlogs, or whether like today's video, you like a bit of the Q&A style videos. There really is something here on this channel for everybody. This is a non-judgmental channel and this is also a safe space for everybody. So if you do like the sound of today's video, then please do give the video a like, and if you aren't already, please do subscribe, and if you have any questions throughout this video, then please do comment them down below. Let's get in with the video. Before we get started, I'm getting ready to do a belly dancing gig. I'm just going to take you through my most of the time makeup routine for dance gigs, but I'm not going to talk you through any products or anything. And just to put it out there, I'm not a makeup artist. Any tips, feel free to comment them down below yourself. And yeah, I'm just going to answer the questions basically. I'm not really going to talk about the products. So I asked questions on Instagram, and here are some. If you see me looking down, it's because I'm videoing on my phone, so I'm accessing Instagram through my iPad. But the problem that I'm going to have, and I usually do, is once I start getting into a question, I stop doing my makeup. I don't really multitask, but I'm going to do both at the same time today. So the first question is, do you ever feel alone? So I think we all go through times where we do feel alone, and I've definitely felt that, and I'm not saying I'll never feel that again, but at the minute I don't feel alone. I feel more aligned with myself and like I'm surrounding the right people around me to not make me feel invisible or alone. If you hear any chomping, I've brought Kobe a sort of chicken flavoured durable bone, so he's having the time of his life with that. So I apologise if that is being heard, and if that is distracting, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I feel like we all go through times where we do feel alone, but at the moment I don't feel alone. But I've definitely just got out of a long patch of feeling alone in groups, on my own. So I assume the person asking this feels alone themselves. And I would just, if I had any tips for what helped me anyway, obviously everybody is different. It's good to be able to talk to people and surround yourself with people that are good for you, people that make you people that don't make you feel invisible, for example, which is one thing that I was kind of doing. I was just sticking with the same friendship group that made me feel, not on purpose, but I think because we didn't have the same interests as such, I didn't really feel myself or valued. And anytime that I'd try and bring myself into conversations, I'd either feel like I'm boring everybody, or they'd be like, oh Shawnee, you're waffling or whatnot. And again, that's not to say they're bad people or anything, but sometimes you just realise that you're surrounding yourself with the wrong people for you, not because they're bad people. And it doesn't mean you have to eliminate them out of your life either, but you just might find people that are more interested in your life, or just constantly show that they care on a deeper level. And maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need a deeper level. Some people, I wish you'd stop being noisy. Some people don't need like deep levels of friendships from certain friendships, and that's also fine. So I would say look at your friendship group or your best friend or whoever you're hanging around with regularly, and just try and notice how you feel when you're with them. But at the same time, you don't want to be like attached to being with people all of the time. So something that a lot of people struggle with, myself included, is being on your own. Now, I did think I struggled being on my own a good few years ago, and then obviously I lived with people on contracts abroad and stuff. And then as I've come home, and especially even from September when I started my course and left the gym and whatnot, I was like, I just love my own company. Like, I actually, because I'm so busy and I give a lot of energy to clients and whatnot, I do enjoy my own company. And when I started therapy and my therapist was getting to know me and everything, she was kind of like, oh, so what do you do in your own time then? Because we was on the topic of, are you okay in your own company, sort of thing. And my reply was, oh, I'll be painting my nails if I have time to let them dry and whatnot, and I'll have a YouTube video on, or I'll be tidying up and I'll put an episode of Friends on because I find it comforting, or anything like that, for example. And that's okay too. But one thing that my therapist did point out is I'm not actually spending full time on my own, full time kind of checking in with myself and not being influenced as such with others, like the YouTuber, for example. I needed to kind of be my whole self for 10 minutes. Like, it doesn't need to be long, but 10 minutes every day if possible. And I would just say set a timer, be in silence, and I would just say either journal and just keep writing. Even if you've got nothing to write, just sit with it, and if something comes to mind, don't overthink it, just keep writing, and then assess it later if you want to. Or you can meditate and just lay down or stay sat up, or even just stretch in silence. You could do it with music as well, in the sense of like no words in the music, like soundtracks to things. But I find that my mind does start to then either create stories or think about certain memories maybe that song reminds me of, and you want to be in the moment now. How do I feel? Why did that person annoy me when normally that wouldn't annoy me? Maybe you need to unravel some things. And as much as that's my advice in terms of assess who you're around a lot of the time and see if they are actually for you and if they're good for you, and obviously you need to be good for them as well, and also spend 10 minutes a day at least, do more if you can, focusing on just you, no distractions, no background noise. If you need to shut your dog out just for 10 minutes, and then focus on you, check in with yourself, give your body and mind what it needs there and then. When the outside world is quiet, which is very rare, but when the outside world is quiet, which you need to have at least 10 minutes of a day, I would say, that's when the mind and the body speak volumes. And you might not figure it out on the first day. I didn't. I've still probably got more to figure out. It's a constant journey. But you will start to feel a bit more clarity and like a weight's lifted off of your chest. And self-love and self-care is more than just painting your nails and watching your favourite programme, which obviously I thought that's what self-care was, having a bath, everything like that. They do also add up to self-care. It's what you need if that's what you crave. But you also need the other element of self-care, and that's checking in with yourself, noticing your environment around you and if it's good for you, or if you need to take a step back or anything. And then my last piece of advice on feeling alone is, whether you do all of that and find it's okay or don't, I strongly recommend seeing a professional, so a therapist, for example, because like I say, I thought I was giving myself the self-care that I needed, and my therapist kind of pointed out, well, actually, you're not really fully focused. See what I mean? I'm not doing my makeup. But my therapist was like, you're not actually focusing on just wholly yourself. You're doing things that you enjoy, but you do need to spend time just doing it yourself. And also my therapist has picked up on a lot of things that I thought I was being silly about, like certain friendships and even family and things. Like I might have thought I was overreacting or being sensitive and not said anything to my therapist, and she's picked up on it somehow with one or two things that I said the week before, or she's picked up on like body language when I talk about certain people, and she's asked me to elaborate on how I felt about certain things, for example. So what I'm saying is, you might feel like you know yourself a lot, which you do. You do know yourself more than anyone. However, sometimes the mind ignores things that you don't want to accept, or you don't want to relive. And a therapist, for example, is there to kind of pick up on that, bring it to your awareness, whether you knew about it or it was just in your subconscious mind, deep down suppressed. So they're my 3 pieces of advice for feeling alone. Check your environment, your friendship group, your relationship, family, like whoever you're around a lot where you feel alone, basically. And also give yourself 10 minutes a day, no distractions, see what comes up, try it for a month at least, and if it doesn't work for you, just go straight in with the therapist. But even on top of all of that, therapists are really good and they will help you. They don't give you the answer, they don't fix it, but they will help you get to what you're feeling, how you're feeling, even if you're trying to suppress that. And it's scary, but it will do you a world of good, especially if you're feeling alone on your own because you are living on your own and you actually don't like it anymore. Or even when you're around a group of people, if you feel alone, chances are they're not the people for you. Yes, you don't need to eliminate them from your life for good, but there might be some people out there a little bit better for you, and your needs and the qualities that you want just from the environment that you want to surround yourself in. So that was quite a long-winded answer. I hope it's okay. It's gonna have to be now, isn't it? But yeah, always talk to someone. Don't bottle everything up. So next question. This is a good one. So it says, what is something that you want to achieve by the end of the year? So I like this one. There's a lot that I want to achieve, I'm not going to lie. But the main thing that I want to achieve by the end of 2022 is just my hours for placement. So if this is the first video you're seeing of me, I am training to be a dance movement psychotherapist. And in our course, we need to, I think it's 100 or 120 hours, which doesn't sound like a lot. But when you've got COVID and shutdowns, I'm in a hospital. So when there's shutdowns and I can't go in, I went 6 weeks without going in, for example. And then you've also got criteria throughout the 2 years that you need to meet in those placements. Like I'm currently working with over 18s, so I need to make sure by this time next year I'm working with under 18s, just to kind of reach the whole scale of age groups. And obviously when I am qualified, anybody can walk through my door. So yes, I mainly want to achieve just getting most of my hours done, because then I can work as much. I'm not really working much at the minute. I've got my online clients, I'm going to a dance gig tonight, but I'm not earning as much money as I was before. So that's a sacrifice I have to make, and it'll be fine for now. I have savings from when I was earning a lot, but seeing that money drop is scary. So I want to get these hours done as soon as possible so that I can work, and I don't have to have the pressure when I graduate to be like, I need to jump into a job for DMP and end up somewhere that I don't actually enjoy. So yeah, in a nutshell, hours at uni for placement. Should I be picky with friendships? My short answer is yes. And then my explanation for that is just because I think, especially when you get older, you reach a certain age where you realise that, like, you want certain qualities from friendships. And that's not to say, like, you only have friends that are providing the qualities of every single aspect of a friendship that you want. So you could have a friend that you just go out with, and that's your friend that you enjoy having a night out with or a night in with. And then you could have other friends where you go to salsa classes with or fitness classes with, for example. Then you could have friends, a certain friend or a certain friendship group that you find really just lift you up and make you feel motivated and constantly are your cheerleaders. And you might find a friend or a friendship group that provide all of that for you, and that's just a bonus. But however you want your friendships to be is what you kind of need to ask for, and you'll get. But what I would just say is, my advice with friends is don't just stick to the friends that you're comfortable with as such, or don't just stick to the same friends for your whole life. Keep them close to you, of course, and they might be your close circle of friendship group for ages. But with me, for example, elaborating a little bit on what I was just talking about in a previous question, and to help answer you with being picky with friends, I was constantly, this goes back to school, this goes back to last year and whatnot, but I always felt that I was the boring one, or I was a boring person, and my humour didn't exist, because I found certain things funny, but it was more like things on my own, or if I found something funny, some of my friends wouldn't find it that funny, or as funny as I did. So then I'd be like, oh god, Shawnee, you're weird. And when all of my friends was pretty much laughing at something, I wouldn't really find it that funny. So I'd be like, God, I'm broken. Like, I am broken. And I'm boring and whatnot. But it's just because we didn't have as much in common as I originally thought. I was more into fitness and dancing, and they didn't really like all of that. And that's okay. But I just think I wasn't surrounding myself as well as with them, with people that was a little bit more into fitness and dancing and whatnot. And when I did actually start surrounding myself more, as I got more dance jobs, and a lot of the dancers that I dance with are actually personal trainers as well. So we also kind of talk about that in our breaks as well. And also just things like friendships and relationships and whatnot, and just being in the industry and everything like that. And I realised that I do have a lot more similarities to these like dancers, for example, but other people as well, not just dancers, but mainly dancers. And I was interesting to them, and they did want to get to know me. And even if I met them a month ago and then I didn't see them for a month, and then I was doing another gig with them in a month's time, they'd be like, oh, tell me what happened with this, did you do this, did you go to that, and how did this pan out? And like, when I was seeing my boyfriend, I might have mentioned it to one or two, because sometimes that's a topic. Do you have a boyfriend? Is he in this industry? Whatnot? Do you live together, etc.? And obviously I was at a talking stage with my boyfriend once, and then when we'd actually got together, my friend from one of the dance gigs that I do, because she was kind of there through the talking stage, and we kind of like have a little bit of a talk like you do, like, oh, he said this and I don't know, and or I don't know whether he likes me as much as I like him and whatnot. And then they're telling you, yeah, he definitely does, and all of this stuff. And then when you go back and you're like, he asked me to be his girlfriend and whatnot, and they're so happy for you. So then I started to realise, well, actually, yeah, I am interesting. I do things as well, and like, either someone else would do something funny and I'd be belly laughing, or I'd be making people laugh. And it just didn't feel forced, whereas sometimes with my friendship group it did, because I just felt like I was trying to fit in with them. They was all very similar. They all have their unique qualities about them, which is amazing as well, but I felt like they was all very similar with, I don't know, just what they was interested in, and that's absolutely fine as well. But I just felt like I was trying to force myself to be more like them, and I just didn't feel, I don't know, like myself and how I wanted to be. And as much as I tried to force at one point myself to be like me, it was like I was trying to meet their expectations, and then unfortunately we aren't friends really anymore. But you don't have to, if you start kind of making them aware of it now, you won't get to a point where I got to. So learn from my mistake, I suppose, but you won't get to a point like I did where you've just had enough of feeling how you felt, you're not being listened to, and after so long of not being listened to and finally decided you want to be listened to, things just end abruptly, really. And then since that, because I've kind of taken a step back and realised the qualities of a friendship that I do want and I can get, because I've already seen it happen to me naturally as well, no forcing of anything, which feels just amazing. I just know what I want from a friendship, and even when I'm meeting dancers sometimes I might be like, oh, they're really nice people, but I don't think we'll ever go for a meal or go out for drinks or anything, because again, everyone's different. You don't have to be like best friends with everyone, but also like we've not got loads of time. Most dancers and most online coaches, etc., and personal trainers are self-employed, so even if you're not self-employed though and you're the one that's asking this question, I know I've gone off on a tangent, but I would just say, yes, I think do be picky with your friendships, and always be a nice person though. Just know what you need and what qualities of a friendship you want in your life and you want to surround yourself with, and also mothers are always right, just remember that. And yeah, that's it really. Always just walk away from whenever you're with your friends and just think, how was that for you? How, like, genuinely, how was that for you? Do you feel like drained? Do you feel happy? Have you had belly laughs? And yeah, reflect on that. That's my biggest piece of advice. But definitely, if you're making new friends, you move to a different area, or you move to a different school or college or university, don't settle for people just because they're there. Be picky and start off by just knowing the qualities of a friendship that you want in your life, and if you get into that habit now, even further down the line you'll naturally do that, and you'll also have the friendships that you do want, the kind of qualities of a friendship that you do want gravitate towards you anyway, and it will feel natural, and that's when you get the best friendships as well. Next question. Okay, how do I get over somebody that doesn't love me anymore? And I would say that I have definitely been in this position. Whether I have good advice for it is another thing. But I would just say, it sounds very cringy, and I'm sorry to be the one to say this, because I don't know whether I'd have wanted this when I was going through this. But I would just say, you have to love yourself. When you love yourself, or you start to actually give yourself the self-love that you need, you learn to respect yourself, respect your boundaries, respect your needs and wants from a relationship, as well as a friendship as well, but a relationship. And you start to value yourself, value your opinions, trust yourself and become more aligned with yourself. I think that's what it's all about. And how can you start loving yourself more. It comes down to the first question where I say spend 10 minutes a day with yourself. I think that will help you as well. And it might be hard at times, and if it ever gets really hard, do not shut people out. Tell people how you're feeling. If you need to invest in a therapist or a counsellor, invest in them. They are there to help and support you, and keep you feeling safe and secure within your own mind and just life in general. So yeah, I think self-love is where to start, and just accept that it's probably never going to happen again with this person. Don't doubt that it's over. Kind of try and come to terms with it. I would say keep busy in a sense. So you don't want to be on your own all of the time. However, I went overboard and I stayed really busy all of the time to try and suppress everything, which I did. And I think those 10 minutes a day minimum, you need to be aware of how you're feeling, make sense of things, have some clarity. Also think about what you want in your next relationship. I know you're probably not thinking about your next relationship yet, and I would also say don't jump into a relationship, which I know people do, but that's not giving yourself self-love and becoming your true whole self again, because you don't want to go into another relationship not being you, not feeling like you, because that's when other people and yourself get hurt, and the next relationship you jump into will hopefully be your forever relationship. So yeah, I would also just say that it's learning to value yourself. So also, I was never like this actually, but I do see a lot of people, and no judgment here. This is not a judgmental channel, and I want to provide a safe space, but in my opinion, I have seen a lot of people jump from relationship to another relationship because that's what they think they need, and maybe they do, and like I say, no judgment, but I think that's because sometimes someone isn't okay with being in their own company and on their own, and maybe they don't give themselves the self-love that they need and they don't know how. So I would say try and work on that if you can. Again, it's easier said than done. I know it is, and it's a constant journey. That's why sometimes investing in a therapist or somebody to guide you is going to help more than you'll ever know. I remember being like, I'm going to do this 90 hours with my therapist, and then obviously I'll be a therapist myself, so I'll be fine. But I think just having that outside eye in and seeing your body language or words, I think they see more than you choose to see. Like I've said before, when you're focused on something, other things are kind of suppressed, and maybe that's intentional, maybe you don't know that you're doing that, but a therapist will see through that. And I know that's scary, but in the long run it's going to help you. So that's all I say. There's been scary times with my therapist as well, and emotional weeks and loads of roller coasters and loads of endings and loads of beginnings, but I'm happier now, and I actually will stay with my therapist for as long as I'm here. I might move away and then I'll have to find another therapist, but for as long as I'm here, I will always be with that therapist. Maybe not weekly, maybe I don't feel the need to do it weekly, but at least monthly. So I've obviously spoken about, like, there was quite a lot of endings through me starting therapy, starting this course, acknowledging how I actually felt around certain people. So there's been a lot of endings as well as new beginnings as well, which I am grateful for them all, really. And it's only because I'm happier. But yeah, when something ends, so a relationship, for example, as hard as it is to admit right now, just think when something ends, it ends for a reason, and they wasn't your person. Yes, they may come back to you eventually, and they may learn from their mistakes, or you may learn from your mistakes. But don't hold off for that, because I did that, and it took me years and years and years to finally be how I am and enjoy my own company, and I'm with someone that I love now. And yeah, just don't hold off to get back with that certain person. Be your own self, do your own thing, get the support that you need, learn to give yourself some self-love and respect yourself, value yourself. You matter. You're your own main character in your story, as much as sometimes you might not want to be. Just think, they might have been holding you back, and this is your time to spread your wings, find your true self again, and then walk into new relationships, new friendships, whatever it is, with as your true self. I hope that helped. Here's a short one that should be short to answer, hopefully. So, what artist or album reminds you of your childhood? So I do like this question. And I would say there are three, maybe. They're probably more than three. So the ones that spring to mind are Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears and Robbie Williams. They're my three answers. If I had to pick one, I would choose Britney Spears, just because I remember growing up as a kid, my mum would always play Britney Spears. And then I remember in secondary school, and even now, like, I'll play her now, and I've done dances to some of her songs now. But in secondary school, when she brought her Circus album out, I think it was, and maybe another album, I was constantly playing them on replay. So obviously childhood, my mum was playing them, then I grew up to loving them and getting the new albums and constantly playing them. So Britney Spears. Thank you for that question. That question was quick, but also I loved answering it. Okay, last question. And I've really not done much with my face. I've done my base, but I've not done my eyes. So I might answer this Love Island question, do as much eyes as I can, and then I'll just show you the end product after answering and then finishing off camera. So, I don't actually know what I'm going to do with my eyes. But, yeah, what do you think about Love Island? So this is the last question. And what I will say is, I don't want to be talking for ages, as I already have. But what I'll say is, it's currently the 10th of June. And that means that I've only watched 3 episodes. So tonight is the 4th. So what I will say is how I always feel, which is I don't really feel invested in it yet. I feel like I need a week or so to get into it, to kind of see the personalities of each individual, and then also see couples growing together as such. And I mean, obviously drama comes into it as well, and seeing how they handle their drama. So I can't really give you an answer on any of the contestants. Is that what you call them? Contestants. Or couples for that matter. And excuse my throat, I don't know why it's kind of going, but I've not got a lot of time, so I'm just going to keep rolling the camera. But yeah, I can't really comment on people. I will say that Tasha, who was in from the beginning, and hopefully when you're watching this she's still in there, I want her to go through to the end. She went to my university. We wasn't close friends or anything, but she was a couple of years below me, so that's quite nice. It's quite nice to actually watch one year where somebody that you know is in, and it's kind of made it feel a bit more normal as such, as in the sense of not just people with a lot of followers in there. Because I know who she is, and I know she's nice and down to earth, and I know a bit of her story from when she was at university, because there wasn't loads of us in the whole school, like I've said before. So you do know everybody, and yeah, she's lovely, and I hope she goes far, and I hope she finds love. But yeah, that's all I can say really about any of the contestants. And yeah, I'll just say, I think my favourite parts at the moment are just all of the, there's not been many to be fair, but when they do competitions as such, if that's what you call it. And yeah, just because you get to see more of their personalities, especially under pressure, and it's a laugh as well. It's fun to watch. Sometimes it makes me want to do it. Like, not Love Island, obviously, I'm happily taken. But I mean, like, games like that, like go to a party with beer pong that's got days on, for example, or truths and whatnot. And just like the competitive games, like all of the ones where you get messy and sludgy and slimy, and I'd love to do stuff like that. Yeah, I can't really comment on it. Ask me in a week or two's time and I'll probably give you a lot more of an answer. But at the minute, I'm going to keep powering through and watching it. I'm going to be supporting Tasha all the way. But yeah, I don't really have anything to say about any of them at the minute. So that's a bit of a boring answer, I suppose. But the villa, I love the villa, and it makes me want to go on holiday every time I watch. And everyone is also on holiday at the minute, so I'm a bit gutted that I don't have a holiday booked, like a warm holiday booked. But your girl's got no money. So yeah, that's the end of this Q&A and kind of get ready with me as such. I'm not fully ready yet. Next time you see me, when I close the video off, I will be ready. So yeah, be right back. All right, so that's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much if you got to the end of the video, and thank you if you did send in any questions. Make sure to follow my Instagram just in case I do any Q&As in the near future, and you can ask me a question if you have any other questions as well that you want answering quicker, then just comment them down below. And yeah, I'm going to leave this video here. I will see you next week for a brand new video.